Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at the Caernarvon stats, hidden and visible. This is the second guide in the little series. So let's first look at the gun. Let's actually look at this one. This is a light tank gun. Yeah, it's not a heavy tank, it's not even a medium tank gun, but it's a light tank because its caliber is below that of an average medium at tier 8. It also has the worst alpha in its tier, and it's a heavy tank, so this is just unbearably bad. Its penetration values are pretty good, and it's rather accurate, yes. Problem is, it can't do any DPM, it doesn't have alpha, it really can't get out damage well. But the gun is very good for support, like taking off tracks. I believe the gun can keep off a track forever, or indefinitely. Next, let's look at the engine. Well, first of all, you start off with a tier 5 engine that literally makes the Caernarvon a heavy tank. Then you get a bit better, and you're like a fast heavy tank. Then here, you're basically a med. This tank is actually very fast. It matches the speed of the IS-3, and usually can hunt other meds down. Problem is, the armor is about the same as the meds also. The hull armor is 130 on the front, which sounds high, but it isn't. If you look at invisible statistics, the upper plate is about the size of the lower plate, which makes you have a 50% chance of hitting the lower plate initially, and then everyone just aims for the lower plate, so yeah. On the other hand, look at these thick tracks. They are so thick that if you position them somewhat like this, and someone tries to shoot your lower plate, they will most definitely not penetrate. So front scraping, which is when you roll out only exposing your front at a very high angle, they'll probably ricochet. I do not believe there is a gun in tier 8. Even the BL-10 cannot get through this at a very high angle. So if you front scrape, it'll work. Now, if you look at the side armor, it's 51. 51, that is pretty bad. Now, it's not as bad as the M103, which is a tier 9 tank with the exact same amount of armor on the sides. And as a positive, it also has spaced armor and, of course, the tracks. But this has a lot of spaced armor. The side skirts, I don't really think they help bouncing AP shells, but they do help severely with HE shells. These reduce the damage by so much. You can take HE shells all day in this tank. You could side scrape. Don't ever over angle in the tank. Want to be about at 10 degrees like this for side scraping. If you start over angling, you will be hit. And this tank is extremely fragile. So if you look at my provisions there, you'll see a safety kit. Yes. Why would you ever have a protective kit? Well, this is a British heavy. If a bullet goes through, it will most definitely break something, in other words. This is why I also have wet ammo racks, which I highly suggest getting, since when you have your ammo racks constantly being damaged, it becomes annoying. And a toolbox, so if you have a track blown off or something, you'll be able to repair it quickly. Provision-wise, protective kit is a good idea. Tea and pudding, if you just, want to get overall better. Ammunition-wise, good loadout. So, what about the turret? There's no point in talking the rear. Any HE shell in the game will go through that. Okay, maybe not in the game. Any HE shell that you'll meet will go through your rear. Turret armor. 165 on the front, which sounds like it's thicker than the hull. Well, it's still very, very thin. Even the worst penetration for a top tier gun in tier 8 would be mounted on the Super Pershing E4. And that still has 170 millimeters of pen, which will be enough to go through the sides of your turret. Now, hence the word side. The mantlet is actually rather thick. I don't think there are really guns that get through that with ease at all. But if you look at this, do you see how much of the tank's turret is covered by the mantlet? Not that much. Most of it is the sides. So, hull down may seem like an option with the excellent gun depression of this gun, but it isn't, because they'll simply shoot the sides, top, or bottom of your turret, most likely damaging your turret ring, gun, or just killing your gunner. So, also they may destroy your view range, but I don't think anyone cares about that. Until you realize that this is a Meds turret! Yeah, that's right, it's a Meds turret. This is the Centurion Mark II. What does the Centurion wear, though? The Centurion wears the Centurion Mark I and the Centurion Mark III, so it's somewhere in between there. It also actually wears the same gun, which is kind of sad. But this means it has excellent view range. That's right, it has good view range, and this is one of the only tanks in Tier 8 to have an actual view range. If you look at any other Tier 8, like the IS-3, it's basically blind. Or the T-44, a medium tank, has a worse view range than the Caernarvon, a heavy tank. So you can actually scout very well. And since this is a Meds turret, its traverse is actually really good. Look at it, 36 traverse degrees, which in comparison with the IS-3 is pretty really, well, good. 16 extra degrees will help you a lot. This tank actually tends to be hard to flank because of the turret. It's also a bit long, which is difficult to flank for some reason. Another weird bonus on this tank is the fact that it does not have pivot traverse, so it traverses with two tracks at the same time. I don't know if that really helps anything. Its total traverse degrees, though, are actually pretty bad. 22. Ouch. That means that your turret traverse way more than outmatches your actual traverse. So, how about the tracks? If you're actually gonna try to get the Conqueror anytime while you're alive, don't get the tracks, because they are pointless. I mean, 2 traverse degrees for 15,000 XP, that's nowhere close to worth it. So, stay with your tier 7 suspensions. Traverse degree, or terrain resistance is pretty good, partially because of the 60-ton weight and partially because of the decent tracks. The tracks also look really nice because they're black, like a very, okay, I don't know if that matters, but I find they look very nice. They're thick, they have a lot of hit points, you'll tend to block things. Oh, crew skills. Repairs, robustness, and close combat master if you want to not be flanked. That's what I would suggest. I don't know if you want to train anything really else here. Yeah, none of the other skills will really help the Caernarvon, but the repairs is super important. If you do not have repairs 4, I would suggest buffing it out before playing this tank. So, that would be it. Thank you for watching the review, and I hope you enjoyed. See you next time.